Welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for visiting my channel. For those of you who this is your first time, welcome. And if it's not, welcome back. So today I want to talk about a phrase that I heard a while back and how I use this particular phrase to live my life, surround myself with things that are within this phrase and push myself away from things that are not. That phrase is, if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. As a young lady, I date, and two particular instances have stuck out in my mind while thinking about this phrase. The first one, I dated a gentleman, I want to say maybe about 12 years ago. Yeah, about 12 years ago. And the one thing I do when I start dating somebody, I ask the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I get some colorful responses, but at least I get responses. And it is a very important question to me because I want to know where a man sees himself in the future. So I know if this is a person I want to surround myself with, spend time with, maybe move to another level. But I definitely want to know where one's mind is. And the first gentleman, when I asked him that question, he started talking about how the field that he was in, he was a director of photography, the field that he was in, younger candidates were being selected for the job, and soon he was going to be seen as a dinosaur, and it was going to be hard to get jobs and things of that sort. Despite the fact that he was self-employed, he had to obviously go out to market himself to get the jobs. I bring this guy up because I still know him and communicate with him, and this gentleman is still where he said he was going to be. When we speak things, we speak it into our lives, and because he said younger candidates were taking these positions, that's exactly what has been happening. He is now finding it hard to get work. We're no longer dating. Once I hear where a person's mind is, I generally pull myself out of the situation because if you do not have a plan, I certainly am not going to jump on that boat and sink with you. The second gentleman that I asked, I came across him maybe about 5 years ago. I found him to be an interesting prospect, and I thought, after a few dates, I asked him, where do you see yourself? And the response that he gave me, despite the fact that he had his own business as well, the response that he gave me was basically, well, I'm just trying to hustle to make sure that, got to pay the bills and, keep my clothes right and my act tight. And I didn't understand that. But it, again, gave me insight into where his mind was at. And I don't know if when women ask this question, if men are thinking in the back of their mind that she's trying to ask to see if maybe marriage is in the future. And newsflash, not all women are just looking for marriage. I, again, as I said, want to know where a person's mind is, because if you are telling me 5 years from now you do not expect to be anywhere, or you expect to be struggling, trying to fight for work from younger candidates, just keeping up with the bills, then invariably 5 years from now, that's exactly where you're going to be. And the second gentleman, exactly where he said he wanted to be is where he's at. If we speak negativity into our lives, that is exactly what we're going to get. If you speak positively into your life, or at least seem like you aspire for more than what's going on right now, that is what you are going to attract. And I want to talk to these young ladies and gentlemen out there who you ask them a question, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And you're talking about the struggles that you're going through now. We want to try to, what's the word that I'm looking for? We want to try to push out the best, or at least speak out the best that we can see ourselves in. And it starts with small, if right now you are struggling in, let's say you have yourself a 1-bedroom apartment, struggling to pay the rent. If you have a goal and a plan, at least you can work towards that plan. But if you're asked a question like that, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And you're talking about, well, first I got to figure out how to pay the rent before I can start thinking how I can make a plan. That's where you're going to be 5 years from the time that you're saying that. So to some people who heard the 2 examples that I gave of the 2 gentlemen, they might say, well, Sadie, you need to be more selective, or you need to figure out how to pick a better partner. To those people, I say, I respect your opinion. We're all entitled to that. But to me, in the back of my mind, I say, thank goodness for that spirit of discernment. Thank goodness for putting me in a place where I can ask the right questions, listen, and act on the response. I generally give everybody the benefit of the doubt, or people that I come across the benefit of the doubt. But if I have now given you that benefit, and I ask you a simple question like that, and you tell me you do not have a plan, or whatever plan you throw at me clearly shows that there was no thought into it, I am not trying to sit around and wait to see where this ends. That's, to me, the same as jumping in a ship that is sinking, and I just can't put myself in that situation. When we hear the response to a question like that, we want to be able to act on it. Because if you hear a response such as the 2 that the gentleman gave me, and you still sat around trying to figure out, well, maybe one day he'll come out of it, or maybe I can fix him, or whatever the excuse is because you like him, invariably you're going to find yourself at a place where both of you guys are trying to figure out what's next. And I'm not trying to be there. I need to kind of have an idea as to what's next. The one thing I do have are plans, many. If one doesn't work, believe me, I have another one to jump onto. And I'm not saying that all my plans work. Many of my plans have not worked, but at least I had a plan. And when I realized it wasn't working, I was able to jump off and move to the next one. And that is what I am hoping that is taken out of this recording right now to the people that are listening, is try to have a plan. Act on that plan. Execute that plan. And the soonest you find out that the plan might not be the one for you, it's not going to work for whatever reason, move on. We all have 24 hours in a day. And you would ask, well, why is it that some people are more productive or successful than others when we all have the same 24 hours a day? The most important thing is that spirit of discernment, having your plan and executing that plan. And the moment you find out that plan is not working, you try to move on. Waiting to see if maybe it will happen, maybe he will come around, maybe he will, the next time I ask him the question, he's going to give me a better answer. I don't have time for that. I don't. So I'm hoping that whatever it is I've said today has resonated, or someone has taken something out of it, can maybe work their own system where they are able to ask the appropriate questions. And in asking these appropriate questions, hopefully they already have their plan. Because if I'm asking you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I'm hoping that I have a plan. And that's the reason why I'm asking you. So for the young ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're going to be posing this question, try to make sure you have your own plans and you are working towards those plans and trying to achieve those plans. Again, if it happens that your plan, there might be a fault there and it's not going to work, the quicker you realize that and move on, the better. If you are engaging with people who do not seem to have a plan, moving yourself away from them might, to me, I've noticed, moving myself away from people that seemed like they did not know where they were going, helped me to fine-tune my plan, because I realized, well, they really, it can't be that bad, and helps me fine-tune my plan to make sure that, well, if a question like that is asked of me, I'm always ready. Once again, I just want you to keep in mind, if you are failing to plan, you are planning to lose, and none of us are here to lose. So hopefully we are all making those plans and we are working towards reaching those plans. And if our surroundings are people that do not have plans, maybe we figure softer ways or a soft way to just move ourselves from the situation, to maybe surround ourselves with people that are more of the same mind. Once again, thank you very much for joining me. If you got anything from this video, please give me 2 thumbs up if possible. 1 thumb up. And subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.